Hello, this is the Progressive Cynic, and today we'll be talking about the NYPD's illegal surveillance of mosques in New York. Since the 9/11 terrorist attacks, the NYPD has operated a program of surveilling mosques without ever gathering evidence of them having criminal conduct before they start surveillance. They call these TEIs, Terrorism Enterprise Investigations, and they are allowable under the NYPD's rules if there's reasonable suspicion that a group of more than two terrorists is active inside of another organization. Now, in order to surveil these mosques, the NYPD has put electronic listening devices, bugs, into the mosques and has infiltrated with informants. More specifically, they've tried to get informants into positions of influence within the institutions. We do not know who these informants are, but it is presumable that they still exist and are still funneling information to the NYPD. The ACLU is currently in a lawsuit against the NYPD, and eventually they will probably win and get this program eliminated. But until then, these informants are probably still active. Now, this story was broken by AP reporters Matt Apuzzo and Adam Goldman in their book Enemies Within, Inside the NYPD's Secret Spying Unit and Bin Laden's Final Plot Against America. At this point, we believe that approximately a dozen mosques have been surveilled under this program, but no criminal charges have been levied against any of the organizations. This means that there simply has been no results in regard to this investigation. They have not found any mosques which have supported terrorism or done anything in order to further a terrorist plot in New York. Now, this is nothing more than guilt by association. It's incredibly unjust, and it is only something which is tolerable to the American people against Muslims. Now, personally, I'm not a Muslim. I was raised Jewish, and I'm an atheist right now. But this is unacceptable to me, because you can't single out a group of people based upon the bad acts of a small minority of their population. You can't do that with any group. It doesn't matter who you're talking about, religion, race, political affiliation. From here, let's look at some extensions of this type of program into other areas of life. According to FBI statistics, 56% of terrorism is committed by right-wing, we call them activists or militia movement people. Now, these people tend to associate either with the Republican Party or the Tea Party, inasmuch as there's any real separation between the two. Is it okay for the NYPD or any other law enforcement agency to start infiltrating these types of meetings and setting them up in sting-style operations in order to entice them to commit crimes, then arrest them? Does anyone believe that would be tolerated? The right wing would have an apoplexy if they even thought that that was going on, and they would call it a dramatic attack on liberty and the right of people to congregate and have free speech. And they'd be right. Okay, what about the bankers at HSBC? It is well known that the bankers at HSBC did money laundering for terrorist groups, including Al-Qaeda. This is material support for terrorism, and it would justify the implementation of this program against this bank. If you could infiltrate these banks with NYPD operatives, do you really think that it would be seen as acceptable? These people are very wealthy, and if we are willing to take the NYPD's standard for Muslims and translate it to banks, HSBC did something very bad in support of terrorism. So, well, it would be legal to infiltrate every bank, from Morgan Stanley to Bank of America, with NYPD operatives to ferret out illegal conduct. Now, while I will admit that is somewhat of an appealing notion, given the terrible consequences these banks have caused on the American people, that's still illegal and unconstitutional. You cannot do blanket surveillance based upon bigotry, based upon some guilt by association. It's not legal, it's not constitutional, and it cannot be tolerated. These mosques should not be surveilled unless there is direct evidence that something is going on in a specific mosque. It's the same with any other organization. If you have proof of criminal conduct or probable cause, you can apply for warrants, you can apply for surveillance, you can do a great number of things. But until you get this probable cause, you cannot constitutionally spy in on a group of people based upon your own assumptions. This has been the Progressive Cynic. Thank you for watching.